let's um, go to the Oracle VirtualBox that I have installed, and then um, we'll see how can we create the VM. We can install a guest OS um, inside the VM, inside the VirtualBox manager, right? So let's once you open this VirtualBox, then you click on New. Let's give it a name, Ubuntu VM 22.04. So I have latest version 2. Can just give it a test, right? So let's click on next. So here we can allocate the memory, RAM, and how much CPU we need. Want one CPU, probably we can have two CPUs allotted, like. And if you want more memory, RAM memory to be allocated, you can put more RAM. So 2 GB is good enough to start with. We can change the settings later on also. Let's say next, and let's start a VM. Let's get a VM with 25 GB. If you want, we can increase the size also and make it, let's say, 100 GB or 200 GB also, depending on what was the available size in your host PC. My host PC is a PC with Windows 11, right? So let's click on next and say finish, right? So we have this instance created. Now we have to install Ubuntu in that. Let's select this one and say go to settings, right? Now we go to storage, right? So here you can see this is empty option is there, right? And we can select whichever disk we want to install, right? So let's go to the VM, and what I want to install is 22.04 latest version, right? So let's click on open and say okay, right? Now what I'm going to do here, let's say start, and few more things to need to see. We'll discuss few of the settings later on. Let's say start. Let's wait for a few seconds to get it launched, and it will ask me whether I want to um, use the Ubuntu as it is without installing, or we can install and have a VM ready so that we don't have to install again and again, or we don't have to use the ISO again and again. So here you can see whatever I have is an ISO. Right from the ISO, I'm creating a VM. Right. So let's wait for the options to be available, and when the options are about to be available, yes, it's all not available. Right, we have two options. One is try Ubuntu without installing. It will directly run from the ISO, and then install Ubuntu. Right. So let's try this install Ubuntu. Right. So it takes around 4 to 5 minutes, not too much of time. Select US or UK, whatever you want. Say minimum installation, right? And let's say continue, minimum installation, continue, select continue. Yeah, so here you are going to install it size, so it has to allocate some memory space. So it will say erase disk. So don't worry about it. It will not erase your actual host software, host OS. So let's say install now. So continue. So it will ask for a few more details. Location, username, say Ubuntu. Right, you will select the password. Let me select this option. I can probably select this also. Require my password to log in, or let's say for okay, we can get both the option, any of the option actually log in automatically. That time it will not ask for password. Here require my password to log in. So let's say continue. Okay, so it started installing the things. You can see that timing now, 17:38. So it should not take more than 5 minutes. In the meantime, when we are installing these things, we can check from where the Ubuntu ISO was downloaded. This is the release path of Ubuntu, right? And here, this is the ISO that I have downloaded. Um, Ubuntu Jammy Jellyfish is the name that we have from the Ubuntu 20.04 LTS. It is always better to use LTS because they have long-term support. LTS stands for long-term support, right? Not all the versions are supported long time, right? So Ubuntu 18.04, Ubuntu 20.04, those are all having a long-term support. But the Ubuntu 18.04 long-term support is about to end, right? So and Ubuntu 20.04 LTS support will go on for some few more years, and 22.04, have many more years. So right. So instead of probably live version, you can download this version, right? Desktop image for 64-bit PC, right? Okay. And one more thing that we want to discuss, like when you install it, the installation is complete, so installation is going on, let it go on. Here, one more thing we need to discuss is like what the network settings you will use when the VM is, installed and available, right? So here is a couple of network settings, which is host only, internal, breezed, net, and net service. So by default, net will be there. It is better to use breezed because it actually, the VM will have separate IP and that which is accessible from any host PC, and separate VM and from the LAN and network. You can see here all the 5 options are available here: VM to host, host to VM, and VM to VM, VM to LAN, and VM to NAT LAN to VM. So all kind of access is available. But if it is NAT only, right, VM to host is available. Host to VM access is port forwarding. VM to VM access is not available, and VM to LAN access is available. But again, LAN to VM access needs port forwarding, right? So best option is the bridged network option, right? So we'll select that. We'll show you when we are selecting it, right? So let's see, the installation is done. So almost 2 minutes now. So I don't think it will take too much more time, right? So I think this settings is clear. We also will see how do we, you know, allow SSH access to the VM, right? And also allow, set a root password so that as any user or any root user can access it through SSH. This is basically for our R&D purpose and all. So if it is for like deployment setup and all, root SSH may not be allowed. Right? For R&D purpose, this root access can be allowed through SSH, right? So yeah. So apart from when the minimum is getting installed, apart from basic Ubuntu, there are a few other additional softwares also gets installed. Right? Let's say if you can see here, Chromium, this the browser, right? Firefox, um, Thunderbird, right? So yeah, so I think that's got installed. So restart now, right? I'll restart it. So this you have the installation medium. So if it is a pen drive or something like that, you can disconnect those pen drive when you are doing it in a PC, right? So here actually you don't have anything to disconnect access physically, right? So you can say enter. Right. So when you are actually, Ubuntu installer USB, you connect to a PC to make the PC as a Ubuntu PC. Okay. That time yeah, it will you have to disconnect the USB, right? So here we have nothing to disconnect. Okay. So let's say since it's a VM, right? So let's say I'll enter the password. Yeah, so uh, the VM got created, right? So I'll say next, next, next. These are the few of the settings. You can choose whatever you want to. So now, right? So now in this, whatever settings we have selected, you can see here settings, right? So if it's a network settings, it's net, right? So which is by default, okay? And also, it is important that when you have this VM installed, right? You refresh the MAC address also, right? So that is so that there's no conflict happens when you create a multiple VMs from a single ISO. So this MAC address conflict doesn't happen. So you better refresh it, right? So let's do one thing. Let us change the network settings and all, and MAC address also. So I'll do one thing. I'll stop this VM again. This is asking for update. It will remind me later. So power of this machine. Okay, so I'll change the settings here, right? You can system wise, you can see it is they are general, and also you can actually for copy paste enabling, right? Between the host to guest and guest to host, you can need to have these settings enabled, right? We can I will have a separate video on this. How do we enable copy paste and make the VM also full screen and all. So let's go to the network. We'll select the DJ Raptor, and here let's say I refresh the MAC address, right? So let's say okay, right? So I'll start it again. Let's wait for the VM to come up, and we'll ask for the password because we have selected that option, like you should ask for password the moment whenever you start, right? And Ubuntu, enter your password. Okay, now let's open on terminal. Let's see what is the IP it has. So it has got an IP, right? So now I'll see if I can ping this IP from my host PC, right? So I'll make it minimize it so that it's easier to view, right? So what is the IP in my host PC, which is the Windows 11, right? So it's connected to wireless LAN. So this is the IP. Let me see if I can ping my VM from my host PC, right? 192.168.0.125. Yes, I'm able to ping. Okay, so am I able to ping on my host PC? Let's see. 192.168.0.116. That was the IP. Yes, it's pingable, right? Okay. So bidirectional communication is because we have selected bridge network. No port forwarding all are required. Okay, it's already taken care internally. So the bridge network. Now next, how do we set a root password, right? So um, what we'll do sudo apt date. Let's take an update so that everything is proper, right? Okay, now what we do, let's set the password for root. Okay, So I've changed the password here for the root. Okay, so right, so what we can do, I'll install the OpenSSH server, because if you want to have SSH connection, then you have to have OpenSSH server. Sudo apt install OpenSSH server. Okay, yes. Okay, so we also want, like, SSH to be enabled in the firewall. So let's type the command for that. It should allow the SSH connection. Okay, so it's updated, and we want through SSH root login to be permitted, right? So let's for that, what we have to do, we have to enable, we have to ensure, like, this file is updated /etc ssh d config. Okay, so we have to ensure that root login is enabled here, right? So if you go in this file, right, so what we'll do, so vim is not installed here, so it's vi, right? So you can see here, right, permit root login, right? So permitted prohibit password, so here it is actually disabled. So SSH, so what we'll do, you can physically update this file also, or what we can do, we can run a command. It will automatically modify this file. This is Linux command using sed. Actually, we can do that, right? It will just replace the string. So let's say what exactly we want to update, right? So permit root login, permit root login, prohibit password, right? And what we want to replace it with, permit root login, right? And say yes, right? And this is in which file, /etc ssh d underscore config, right? So this is the command, right? So just one mistake here I did. I started with double colon, right? Single. Okay, so permit root login, right? And prohibit password, what that is getting replaced with permit root login, yes, string. Okay, so let's click on enter and let's see. Okay, so it is done. Now what I'll do, root service service ssh restart. Okay, so ssh service got restart, right? So now let's see whether I can connect to this VM. So let's say I will try with the putty, right? So this is the putty, right? Let me see if I can access to this VM. Okay, so 192.168.0.125, right? This is the VM IP. Okay, so open, accept, yes, root. So, yeah, so I could connect to this VM, right? So if I see the host name in that VM should give me the same IP, right? Yes. So that is working, right? So that's it. I hope you understood the steps how to create Ubuntu 22.04.2 VM and how to enable SSH, and also you can connect through SSH from outside systems. Here I have shown it from a host PC. I hope this video is helpful. Please subscribe or like the video if you really appreciate my effort. Thank you.